few days ago, the Brazilian blue molted out, and whilst they don't always look blue, they do get a bit darker, sort of between molts. But I think you'll agree, that is absolutely cracking spider. Look at that, I've got a bit of light on there, let's try and, rather than just a animal room light. But look at that, gorgeous velvety. Well, I'm colourblind, I say blue, you know what I mean. It's certainly not just a dark blackish spider. That is a really gorgeous animal. Not a huge tarantula. He's growing, but not a huge sort of species. Let's just put that down there. That changes the look, doesn't it? Wow, look how quick that is. So they really seem to have an up and down attitude. This has been to quite a lot of my school visits. Though I don't let children handle them, but I certainly have a couple of spiders that go to schools that I handle. And you can see this guy now, fast and skittish. A previous molt, it would rear up and put on a threat pose. So, and in between, a puppy dog tame kind of animal. So, definitely goes through personality changes as it goes on between molts, for sure. Look at that. Terrific spider. And actually, this one is out most of the time. It's holed up behind a little bit of cork bark now, but I would say probably feeling a little bit vulnerable still, and probably why it's still a little bit twitchy. That's a good looking spider. Not something I get to show you guys very much. I just thought I'd show you the beauty of this species. Really nice. And again, not a huge animal. Nice sized tarantula, but certainly no giant. Beautiful. Now another spider in here that's just molted. Much more capable of shifting at this size. Here's one of the Goliaths. Look at that. Look at that. Little Stirmi, hairy beast at this size, freshly molted. So we won't feed either of those two today. It does look somewhat like, when it runs around, a big hairy house spider. Very leggy at this size. Again, actually that's not a fair comparison. There we go, sort of ordinary perspective there. It's probably doubled in leg span. Now I do need to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hopefully I've counted right there. Yeah. So this was a 7-legged beastie. It came to me with 7 legs. I bought it with 7 legs. Molted out. We're now back to 8 legs. Still in a tiny little rearing enclosure, but I'm sure the way it's growing, it'll soon be moving out. Made herself a lovely enclosure in her new enclosure, and lovely home in her new enclosure there. I do make a nice little webbing. Lovely looking spiders. Greenbottle blue is a must-have, I think. Annoyingly, you've got this kind of opening, but it all works okay. And again, also enjoying the new Costco enclosures. Is the curly hair. So he's my kind of go-to take-out educational tarantula. Big and hairy, super chilled out, just the job. Not ideal if you're a cockroach, but looking good, very settled in his new house, also recently molted. And the Socotra Island Blues settled in well after being disturbed and rehoused. Webbing in there, there's several of them in there, all looking pretty happy, certainly making it a home again. Took them a few days before they really started webbing up. Quite miserable, displaced, unhappy, but now settling in really well. Another cool one, the little baby greenbottle blues. Look at that now, really growing. You've seen the mum, and there's one of her babies, absolutely thriving. One of the young P.metallica, the Gooties, that's grown on from a little sling. Got about 3 more of these. A couple brought as sub-adults. And a couple grown on from slings with a bit of proper light on them. You've got to agree, they still are one of the most spectacular tarantulas that are really there. They just are. And the good thing about this girl here, or boy probably, but a good thing about this girl here is always out. They are known for being quite shy and secretive. They are known to be very sort of light shy, so you'll turn the lights on even at night, they'll be there and they'll certainly just scurry away and hide again. But for sure, they do all have different personalities. And this one is out most of the time. Beautiful. Now, one thing we did do, it's escaping. And one thing we did do more hands for this guy again. Just beautiful. So one thing we did do was a little review on the channel of these spider shop enclosures, and they've got anything that's clipped together with rubber bands is obviously possibly not the best spec, but they do work well. But they're not that good really for things that like a damp substrate, and the reason being, if you're gonna spray down or put enough moisture in the substrate to make it damp or particularly damp lower down, obviously being made of separate panels that are just pushed together and held together by elastic bands, silicone bands, is of course they leak. So unless you're gonna, silicone sealant doesn't really take too well to acrylic anyway, but unless you're gonna seal them up before you assemble them with aquarium safe silicone, be aware if you do flood the substrate at all, they do leak. But they're good designs in many ways. Right, by the way, hopefully, even though I've done this one-handed, you'll realise that pretty much all my other old world spiders, when these guys are worried, they're just trying to get away, get back in. No defensive behaviour. I love the P.metallicas. The only downside is really they don't come out as much as they could. If these were out all the time on a lovely bark background, chilling out as a normal default, they would be the best tarantula in the world. Like this, which is not going to stay there as soon as I open the enclosure. But equally as stunning, but without that blueness that I love. It's another P.metallica, but this time a species that's somewhat more likely to stay out on display. Rubbish shot, but best I can do. And on that theme of if only they were out all the time, Singapore Blue, she's an absolute stunner. Her leg span's huge already. Just a beautiful, striking spider. Really leggy beasts, but beautiful colouring, beautiful species, but always tunnelled down, due for a rehousing. I'm probably going to give her a full cork bark round tube that's much taller, a little bit wider, and to be honest, I'll just see her now and again in darkness when I come in here. And I won't even have to do this because she'll be in a tube, but she's going to be happier. She needs a deeper substrate. They are arboreal. They always do seem to dig down. Dig down if they're in a tube with a deep substrate. Dig down into it. She's dug all the way down now to the bottom. So she needs a nice big enclosure. But really, you're going to have to set it up quite nicely, I think. Because to be honest, you're not going to see much of her. Sometimes I'll put a half round against the side of the glass with a black bit of card there. You've got more chance of seeing them a little bit, but it's not the same as really seeing them out and about. But again, just that added excitement when you see something this beautiful out and about properly, even if it is after dark. But really like that spider. She's a beautiful creature, but what a waste of her viewing her like this.